About though the mercy, but the mercy is not being shown or realized by some radical Muslims, radical Islamic groups, for example, that are creating this problem. I'm wondering what sort of humor, what sort of jokes you use to criticize them in a way. Can you give us some examples?
Well, I don't make fun of terrorists because I don't want to get killed. I'm just kidding.
I think you should.
You know, the fact of the matter is, Mithat, this is a very, as much as I'm here pointing out that we have to be careful about, you know, these constructs of terrorism and, you know, everything else, you know, when the government does it in the name of promoting peace in the Middle East or toppling Saddam or whatever, then somehow it's anything but. The reality is, and by the way, Bill Clinton, right after 9/11, said a very profound thing. He said, let us never forget the greatest act of terrorism committed on American soil was the treatment of the Native Americans. That's a Bill Clinton quote. Right after 9/11, he said that in this country. So my hat's off to him because I think he spoke the truth. We have to also recognize, as much as that is true, as I said earlier, there is this problem of radical Islamist ideology. And it is a problem, it is a cancer in the Muslim world, and it is a cancer in our religion. And as I said, Muslims have the biggest responsibility, more than anybody else, to root out this problem, to denounce it, to recognize it for what it is, which is that it is a cancer. And by the way, this type of radical, you know, idea, when they attack America or they, you know, they hate America, it's not like they just hate America. They hate me, they hate you, they hate everybody who doesn't agree with them. You know, this fringe has been around for a long time. You know, even from the early days of Islam, there was a very radical group that emerged that was condemning all the other Muslims, and they're called the Khawarij. And I would argue that a lot of these contemporary groups are just drawing their inspiration from that same radical, crazy, lunatic fringe. And so again, just as Muslims historically have refuted them, and the Muslim mainstay scholarship has denounced them and exposed their lies and shown them to not be connected to our tradition, we have to do that for our time in a modern, contemporary way. And Muslims, unfortunately, have not been rising to that challenge, and that's part of the reason why there's still so much confusion regarding the difference between a radical terrorist, extremist, and everybody else.
Hi, I'm Muwaffa Tayyib, and I'm from the minority of Muslims who are Arabs. I would like to ask you, how do you compare your group, Allah Made Me Funny, with the Axis of Evil comedian group, for example? Thanks.
The honest answer is I don't. I don't bother to compare our work. I personally believe, as I said earlier, that we just don't have enough people entering media and entertainment. And so I think that what the brothers at Axis of Evil are doing is great, and we continue to wish them well. And actually, I pray for their success. I've actually literally